Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another real quick video here. Just another video about the Errol Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter fight. This video is going to be more about Shawn Porter. Just a quick one here, man. I just want to tell everybody out there, that's kind of underestimating Shawn Porter. Don't underestimate Shawn Porter in this fight. For real, don't underestimate this guy, because Shawn Porter does have that ability. He does have that ability to upset a guy like Errol Spence Jr. First off, I just got to say to the casual fans or even the hardcore boxing fans that don't like Shawn Porter's style or just don't like him, don't let your emotions get in the way of actually, analyzing a guy like Shawn Porter and what he brings to the table. You can't lie. Shawn Porter is a fighter and he's a boxer. He might not be the best boxer technically, but he is a fighter and he's always trying to find a way to win. Even the fights that he's lost, he's still going in there and he fights all 12 rounds. So that's one of the reasons I say you can't underestimate a guy like this. Like, so many people I've heard say Shawn Porter's trash. Shawn Porter's style is trash. He just goes in there head first, or he's in there just headbutting or, mauling and brawling. I've seen him headbutt, I've seen him go in there with the elbows and the forearms. But again, like I said, he's a fighter. In a boxing ring, in the sport of boxing, you see guys box, you see guys punch, see guys brawl, and you see guys fight, and you see guys maul. This is one of his styles. When you're a fighter, you're going to use everything to your advantage, whatever the referee doesn't see. You know what I mean? Like, when I say that, I'm saying you might hold with one hand where the referee can see that hand holding, but with the other hand, you're hitting the hip or you're hitting the kidney. That's what a fighter does. It sounds dirty, but that's what they do. So when I say a guy like Shawn Porter is a fighter, he's going to go in there and try to break his opponent down any way he can or wherever the referee can't see. You know what I mean? So you can't really bash a guy who does something like that, especially if he's like the shorter guy in there and he's going in there with the guy with the longer reach. If he's going on the inside, he's going to try to smother and hurt you any way he can. So that's one thing I do give Shawn Porter respect. He's a fighter. I don't respect dirty fighting, but I do respect a guy who goes in there to be a dog, to be there to be a dog. It's up for the other guy to stop that, to nullify that dog. And, a guy like Errol Spence, I think he can do that. But, this is a tough order. Honestly, this is a tough order. That's why Roy Jones, he said this was a big fight, a big coming out for Errol Spence, because it is. And back to what I was saying about casual fans calling the style trash. Shawn Porter's not trash. If he was, the guy would be like 2-35. He'd be a cab driver for real. You know what I mean? Or Uber driver or whatever. Because if his style was trash, the guy wouldn't have won 2 belts. If the guy's style was trash, he wouldn't have went a majority decision with a guy like Kell Brook, or he wouldn't have been able to give Keith Thurman a hell of a fight. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have been able to do what he did to Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman would have knocked him out if his style was trash. But he's a guy who goes in there with what he brings to the table. He brings strength, he brings stamina, he brings this high gear into the ring that a lot of fighters think is easy to handle, but it's really not, because he's coming in there almost like a football player. He's doing these two-step feints and, double-step feints, and he's almost like sprinting towards you. So you think that would be easy to counter, but it's actually not. You know what I mean? Like, when I first saw the Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter fight on paper, I was like, okay, a guy like Keith Thurman is just going to land body shots from the outside, box him and counter, and probably stop him in the mid rounds. I thought he was going to be able to tattoo a guy like Shawn Porter, but hell no, he wasn't able to do that, because a guy with the work of like with the footwork of like Shawn Porter, he's able to kind of like stutter step in there and feint, and not just come in there like a regular brawler or puncher. He's kind of like feinting you with the footwork, and then all of a sudden he's running head first and you got to kind of catch him, and then all of a sudden he's hooking you to the head and to the body. So the punches aren't that hard, but it's the strength he's putting on you that'll kind of sap your energy, and then those punches will come and then they'll kind of break you down. So there's just so many different elements to Shawn Porter's style, and you just call it that pit bull style. Like, a lot of people hate it, but it's actually hard to counter. It's definitely a tough and rough style. And I think a guy like Errol Spence, he has the goods to kind of stop that style and nullify it just with his own concussive hands and his own way he likes to stand his ground. Like, he doesn't really box off the back foot. He's going to meet you in the center, and he's going to hurt you with, hard, accurate shots right up the guard. So I think this is going to be, the style I think it's going to be the fight that's going to really bring that out of Errol Spence in this fight, but it's not going to be easy. Like, I don't see an early knockout. I see it being a breakdown, but speaking of breakdown, I'll break it down later. But yeah, I definitely see it a fight that's really going to, be a clash of styles, and it's going to be an exciting style because Shawn Porter is going to bring it. And if Errol Spence is caught sleeping in this fight, he could outpoint him. I don't see Shawn Porter stopping Errol Spence, but I could definitely see him outworking him if he's caught sleeping. If he lets that little stutter step feint where he kind of runs in there like a football player, if he lets that style, get to him or throw him off his rhythm where he's getting in on inside, just like mauling him for rounds, he could outwork Errol Spence. So Errol Spence definitely got to be on his game because, though, like I said, y'all casual fans say it's an ugly, ugly boxing style, that ugly, ugly boxing style wins him fights and it wins him belts. And speaking of, not even that style, like even his boxing style has been winning in fights, so you can't underestimate his boxing either, because if you go back and look at the Danny Garcia fight, he boxed Danny from a distance and he boxed Ugas from a distance. Like, okay, the Ugas fight was close and controversial, but he was still boxing and he still did enough to win that fight and convince the judges. You can go back and forth and look at that fight all day, but he must did enough to win on the judges' scorecards. Going back to the Danny fight, if you would have thought, if you think about it, Danny should have had kind of a field day with his punching. He could have had a field day with his right hand in this fight because Shawn Porter was actually boxing him at a distance where Danny Garcia could have used those looping shots and he could have used that range to kind of counter Shawn Porter. But, that boxing style kind of threw Danny off. It was like Danny wasn't expecting that. He was kind of expecting the pit bull. But when that boxing style came in, it kind of threw him off. So, I don't think Errol Spence would kind of fall for that boxing style, and it might favor him more if Shawn Porter boxes, because I know Errol Spence will use his reach. But I'm just saying, Shawn Porter, though, a lot of people don't feel like he's a really good technical guy, he's bringing a lot to the table. He'll kind of switch it up on you. So, yeah, man, that's all I just got to say on that one, man. Just don't go in this fight. Just the fans don't go in this fight underestimating a guy like Shawn Porter, because he's going to make this a tough fight for Errol Spence. I don't think Errol Spence is going to underestimate him, but like I said, a lot of people just are counting Shawn Porter out in this one, but he has the ability to upset Errol Spence in this one, man. But I'm just being real. You can disagree, you can like it or dislike it in the comment section if you want, but I think this is going to be a tough fight, and Shawn Porter, he's going to bring it this time. I'm out. Peace.